Right, let's try again. We seem to have had some sort of a problem, and it's time to try again and see how we go this time. As I was saying, in the first attempt, we were trying to talk about how I've got some things that I want to say about things that have happened in the last week or so. And I've got some notes here that I will go to, and hopefully, as people clock in and that, we'll start to see more and more. We started this live stream perhaps 5 minutes ago, but for some reason we lost it. This is a second attempt, and let's hopefully go further forward. Now, there are a few things I want to talk about. Let's start off having a look at last week's videos. We had a couple of videos, and the first one last week was about the fact that I've given up social media. Well, to a certain extent, I have. I've done away with all of the social media that I've had, with the exception of Substack and YouTube. And I've got to be honest, it's been a really weird week not having either of them, the old ones. Facebook, for instance, I found out that the first night that I wasn't doing Facebook, basically, that I kept picking my phone up. I had my phone like that. And I was like every 5 minutes checking to see what was going on. And I wanted something to do. But as I had already taken Facebook off of it, and Instagram and Pinterest and all those sorts of things, I really found that I had a phone with nothing on it. And so I was sort of struck that I didn't have anything to do. Now, what I have done over the course of this week, I've made a little Excel file up. And basically, each day, I've put all the things that I've done in the time that I would have been doom scrolling on my phone. Ah, hi, I found you again. Thanks, Deb. Nice to see you. And the stuff that I've managed to do this week has been quite interesting, because I've seen a great deal of more movement, I suppose, if you like, than what I had done before. Where I spent hours going up through my Zoom, through my Facebook, flicking, looking to see what everyone was doing, and getting really angry at all the adverts and all the suggested pages and everything except for what I actually went on it for. Well, what I found that happened was I started doing other stuff. I've been reading this week, The Fun Habit. I'll talk about that later on. We've spent time doing Family Tree. I've gone back to doing some of my hobbies that I've sort of drifted away. One afternoon, I thought the most productive thing I could do with it, as I was so tired, is to go to bed and have a sleep. So I had, I don't know, half an hour's kip, if you like, and that was really good. So I found that this week I've made a point of replacing the time that I used to go doom scrolling with doing something productive, something that can add to my life. When you think that, I didn't realize, I was all very smug when they said that so many people spend 6 hours a week looking at their phones. And I was smug because I thought, nah, that won't be me, because I use social media on my PC. However, when I went to this and checked it, I was averaging 4 hours and 40 minutes per week looking at my phone on social media and stuff. Now, I'm going to put a video out probably the end of next week, which is going to talk about the things that I've been doing to replace social media. Now, if you think about the fact that I was watching it for 4 hours a day on my phone, over 10 days, that's 40 hours. That's a working week. So that's what I'm going to be checking. I'm going to see what I've replaced those 40 hours with, and I'll talk it through you. There's been some surprising things. I have a famous family member that a lot of people will know. And the reason I know that is because he's a Hollywood film actor. And he's a relation of mine that I found out about it maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but I wasn't quite sure where in the family tree he sat. So this week, Debs and I went through our family tree and managed to work out where he sits in our family tree. And I will let you know who that is towards the end of next week when I do the video about how I've replaced social media so far. So hopefully that will be quite an interesting watch for a few people. I have to say, I don't know this relation. Perhaps I should find a way of getting in touch with him as his poor relation, see if he can lend me a few quid. I probably won't. Hi, Luke. How are you? It's good to see you here once again. So that was the first video I did last week, was talking about the social media. And then I had this idea. Hi, Chris. How are you? If you notice, I'm looking over that way. That's where my chat box is. So I'll be disappearing over that way to see what everyone's up to. The second video I did this week was supposedly a bit tongue-in-cheek, because I've found that, I don't know if you agree, but a lot of my videos have been a bit serious because I talk about serious stuff. And I wanted to lighten it up a bit because I was losing viewers and losing subs and all that rubbish. And if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I said, I've had enough of that. I'm going to do some different things to see if I start enjoying it more. And I am. And this video about the little things that annoy me as I've got older, I could have gone on for hours. I've got to be honest. And what turned up from it was some brilliant comments. Some of the comments that I had in reply to it made me giggle, to be honest, because I think the same as well. And who knows, down the road, there might be a second part to that video in which I'll talk about all the other things that get on people's nerves. I had a great one this morning. I've got to tell you about this. I had a great one very early this morning when I woke up, and I got up and I had done washing and all that sort of stuff. And I looked at this post there from someone that said, I bet you can't guess what grinds my gears. So